Hello, my name's Katie and welcome to my shed. How are you doing? Did you have a lovely Christmas? It's, as I'm recording it, it's Boxing Day today, so you will get to see this, I don't know what the date will be, next week. And it's my birthday and I have just finished my first live stream, which I would say wasn't the most successful endeavour of my life. However, it was quite fun, and I've learned a thing or two. I think what I really need to do is work out how to get a camera from above so I can record, have me on the screen plus what I'm drawing. That would be really helpful, and I think there are some apps that you can do that with. I didn't think about doing that until about 10 minutes before the stream was about to start, by which time it was a little bit too late, so I did not do it. However, for future reference, that's probably what I'll do if I ever get around to do one of them again. But I hope you all had a lovely Christmas if you celebrate, and if you don't celebrate, I hope you managed to get the food you needed from the supermarket, avoid all the crowds and things like that. We're not big celebrators here for anything really, but we had a nice day, so that's good. Just spent it with my family, chilling out. So one of the things that I got for Christmas was these flowers, and I thought I might paint them today. So I did have a go at drawing some of these little berries during the live stream, and they were quite fun to draw, so I am going to draw these. They won't look exactly the same because it's me, but what I really fancied doing was using some of the inspiration from the Terry Runyon book that we've been looking at on previous videos to, if I find it now, depending on how long it takes me to find it, there we go, this sort of stuff. So some sort of very big loose flowers with ink over the top, personal detail. So something along these lines is what I'm going to do. I did do a still life a little while back with mixed media and I really enjoyed doing it, so I think I should still really enjoy doing it this time. The paper I'm using it's going to be interesting because I don't know how well it will hold the watercolour, but it's the only big paper I've got, and it's mixed media paper, and it's this Daler Rowney A2. It says it's for watercolour, but it's very thin. It says it's 250. It does not feel like 250, but we'll give it a go and we'll see how well that works. Let me just put this under my table out of the way. So I'm going to plan on using some watercolour, some gouache, some pencils, and also I was going to show you my new presents. I did show these in the live stream, but I'll throw the box away. I'll get the box out. One of my friends at work bought me these. They're from Søstrene Grene, and they are liquid watercolour paints. I think they're probably they feel like water-based inks, but they're very, very subtle colours. Let me show you. The colours are super subtle, and I think that would work really nicely. Excuse the scribbles, but you've got the dark green and light green, this sort of burgundy and a pink. So I'm going to use those. Obviously these flowers are white. We're just going to pretend they're coloured because that would be really boring otherwise. Or maybe I'll do splodges of colour and then we'll do white flowers over the top. Who knows? The other thing that I bought myself for Christmas stroke birthday, I'm so naughty, but you can't spend your money on yourself. Who can you spend it on, hey? Is, you guessed it, I finally got around to buying some Neocolour IIs. I found them on Vintage, so I wasn't planning on buying them, but they came up, and they were a good price. So I think they were £30 for the 30, so not a huge saving, but probably a saving of about 20 quid. And I have swatched them all out already, and I do like them a lot. Let me show you my swatch card. I would swatch them out again, but there's hundreds of videos of people swatching out their Neocolour IIs, and they will do it a lot better than me, so you might as well watch theirs rather than watch mine. But if you want to see me swatch them out, you can go back to the live stream and watch it. But here's the colours. So this, excuse the top, I put some black lines down to just try and look at the opacity, and rather than that work, it just sort of smudged the black line. It is waterproof ink, but I obviously haven't let it dry properly, so ignore the funny splodges. But I really like the malachite green. I like the blue cobalt blue and the blue turquoise. I like all of these ones. I like them all really, they're all quite nice colours. So I'm probably going to use those as well as some watercolour paints. And I mean, I'll have to use these at the end because you know how I like to go over with pen, and the pen, because these are quite waxy, doesn't work brilliantly. But we could maybe use those at the end. Maybe some Poscas. So we just do a bit of everything. That's the plan. So, should we give it a go? Let's, come on in. Right, I'm going to turn you around, put you down on this thingy, looking down at the table. Look how mucky this table is. I think maybe I need to tidy it up a little bit before I start drawing. So I'll do that. Apologies, I've got a drink and I've got my birthday snack of choice, which is tiramisu Lindor. Really balanced diet there, that with the Dr. Pepper. Perfectly balanced meal. Right, let's tidy up a little bit. So for those, sorry, I think I've shown you that I have shown you this book before, but this one is Painting Happiness by Terry Runyon, and it's just playing with watercolour really. And I haven't, typically for me, I haven't actually read the book. I've just gone straight in and looking at pictures and thinking, oh, I want to draw that. I will read the book and follow it, but this is the sort of image I want to create, something along that, inspired by that, but with this bunch of flowers today. Right, I'm going to tidy this table. You don't need to watch that. I forgot to say, I also bought these little brush set from my friend, the same friend that bought me the inks. These are also from Søstrene Grene. Søstrene Grene, I'm going to say it differently every time. I don't know how much they are. I can't tell you that, but they're very much my kind of brush. I do like a synthetic flat brush. I've got a few of those. I probably don't need another one of those, but these ones all will be very useful. So I'll let you know how I find them. They're not the finest brushes ever, but for me, for what I use and how I, you know, how I like to abuse a brush, actually they'll be really handy. So I will let you know how I get on with those. I might use them today. So I think the first thing I need to do is draw it out. I was going to do it in pencil, but the pencil does sometimes smudge a bit, doesn't it? Now let's do a line drawing, and then I can find one that we'll draw. We're going to do my usual continual line drawing. We'll use this one. This one's a Pitt pen. It's a S. We'll draw with this, let it dry thoroughly, and then we're going to go over. We'll do a bit of watercolour, a bit of ink, a bit of everything, and see what we come up with. I would say the problem with this paper, because it's so thin, every lump underneath my table I can feel, so I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out in the final image. But I don't have a board. I do have a board big enough. That's not true. I do have a board big enough. I just don't have enough space on this table with all this stuff plus the board. Okay, let's draw it out. I'll do that on time lapse, I think. So I'm going to sit down and sort of look at it from the side. I'll probably turn it around a few times just to get a bit of interest on there. That was typical. I was drawing away, having a great time, being super chuffed with my drawings, and then looked up and realised it hadn't been recording again. I think that's about the third or fourth time that's happened since I've had this new camera. Anyway, this is my drawing. I'm quite pleased with it. Obviously there's a lot more going on in the flowers, but I can't put every single flower in there. Well, I could, just look a bit of a mess, wouldn't it? So now we're going to go in with a bit of colour. Not quite sure what that's going to look like yet. I quite fancy either using some inks and just like pulling them around with, like I would almost like a screen print, like a squeegee, to get some colours in. I did that with the last one and that worked quite nicely, so I might do that. And I'm not sure what colour will do the vase. It is obviously white, but that would look a bit dull unless I do the background and leave it white. I don't know. We're going to chuck some colour at it, chuck some paint at it and ink at it and see what happens. And yeah, so let's do that. Okay, so first of all, I think I'm going to use some of this green here because I really like this. I would say I apologise in advance because when it comes out it looks really biley. It's like bile colour, which is lovely, but once it dries, it does dry quite nicely. So let's get some of that on. What brush should we use for that, or should we squeegee it? Let's pour some on and squeegee it around. Have I got a pipette? No. Okay, let's just push it around a bit. This is fun. I like that. So I'm not really sure what these inks are. Well, they're not inks, they're watercolour, liquid watercolour I think they're called. There is just a watercolour that's been diluted, or if it is an ink, I'm not sure. Let's put in some of the darker colour. That's that one. I think I'll use a brush for this one though. Look at some. Oh no, that's. Did I even get any on there? So I'm going to put a bit on these leaves. I want to get some darker tones on the leaves in some of the places. That one's going to squeegee that around as well. Let's use this one. Okay, I'm going to dry this off before I go on with anything else, because you know what I'm like and I end up making a mess because I'm not patient enough. Okay, so I think I'm going to go in with a bit of watercolour now. Probably, actually no, I'm going to go in with the pinks and reds of this ink stuff first and then go in with some with a bit more pigment afterwards. So let's make the roses. They can have the pinkiness. They're really, this is really subtle colour, this one. And these ones, what are they meant to be? I can't even find them now. They've closed up. I don't know what they were. The heat in here has made the plants do weird things. Now I'm going to put some of this in the centre of these, like a type of lily, I think. There's my line. Let's use this one. Not there, that's wrong. That's wrong, Katie. Now we're going to go in with a little bit more pigment, something with a bit more oomph to it. Really want to get in some fluorescent paint. I've been using it a little bit. I'm messing around with it, and I'm going to pop some in now. This is just the System 3 fluorescent yellow. It's pretty grim, but I kind of like it, so I don't want that. I'm gonna scissors. No, okay. I'm going to drag it. I want it for the centre of the daisies. Oh gosh, that's a lot of paint. Maybe I need to put some of that back in. I mean, fluorescent. What's not to love about a bit of fluorescent pink? Not pink. I can't even get my words out. Yellow. There we go. That is special, isn't it? Right, I'm going to put you on time lapse. Faff around a bit more. Okay, well, I'm having lots of fun. I'm not sure, you know, it still needs to dry a little bit more, and I want to go in with some of the Neocolours and maybe some pencil. I need to get rid of this pink splodge on my vase. And then once it's dry, get a bit of texture in there. And then I'm just debating whether or not, a bit like here, whether I use some thicker ink. I don't know if she's used watercolour ink. I mean, it's a watercolour book, so I'm guessing watercolour, but yeah, I'm quite pleased with how it's going. Alright, that's better. I've also got the Poscas as well, haven't I? So I'll probably do some of that as well. So these are the colours that I've got. We all know how excited I get with lots of colours, so I need to be, I'm going to pick my colours now and then move the box away so that I don't use all of them. I do want to use the white, and I mean, I think this is going to be my favourite one through all of it, the malachite green. I want some blue. I feel like maybe the Prussian blue, just because I need a bit of darkness in there. And something for the flowers. maybe a periwinkle for these, maybe, or do we just go in with another? Too many colours, you see. I'm just not very good at having choice. Okay, let's put them away for now. Right, let's have a look at getting a bit of detail in. So I'll use the red to start. This one's Carmine. Let's sit down. Are we recording? Yes, we're recording, because that would have been annoying to get some of these stamen. They're stamen, aren't they? Get some of those in. And a bit of this around the outside, like that. What do we do with these? These need something. What colour are they? They're like green and white. Do those in a minute. Okay, so that's that one. Let's move that out of the way. There's the light olive. That would work quite nicely for those. Kind of dots. I feel like I could do with some white dots in these as well. Okay. And then there's those as well, but I might do those with pen. Okay, so I've got my Poscas. This one is not actually short beige, but it's the right colour for those berries. A little bit dark actually, but I think it'll be fine. And I'm going to just colour them in, I think. I like the fact they might be a bit shiny. And the berries are quite shiny, so. Okay, so I'm just going to do some of these. This one is not the beige, this is the other one. This is the ivory for these little chrysanths. I'm not sure how well it will go over the Neocolour, if I'm honest, but a little bit. In places it seems to be taking, and then others the Neocolour's winning. I just want to put a bit more pattern in. So what should we do? Should we do some spots? How pink is that going to be? It might be quite nice. I don't want anything too similar, you see, just so it's a little bit. I haven't got a white. Right, should we do these roses or the daisies? I feel like the middle of the daisies need some love. I've seen someone using like brush pens, acrylic brush pens, and I feel like they've got to be better than these ones, because even if you hardly use them, they just crust up, don't they? That to dry, and then I'm going to go over with some black again, and then I think we're good. Okay, I mean it's pretty much done. I know it looks a little bit messy, but I love it. I love the chaos. I just want to go back in with some black. I'm using a brush pen, and it's a Uni Pen Fine Line. It's waterproof, so I just want to get in a little bit more of the line, put that back in where I can. Probably not all of it, but some of it. I've got to work out where the line was though, to be fair. So let's get some in around these little chrysanthemums. This up here needs something, doesn't it? Needs a bit of yellow or something. It just looks a little bit like it hasn't got purpose. Let's get... Actually, I'm going to go with the Neocolour. That's what I'm going to do. Excuse the heater, but I need to keep it on. I'm cold. I've decided I don't like this. I'm going to just let it dry, and then I'm going over. I'm going to use my... which one's this? The My Sotis blue. I feel like it needs a bit of blue, so I'm going to put a bit up here and a little bit round the edge, or maybe on the vase. It could definitely take a bit of blue. So that's what we're going to do. I need a flat brush. Oh gosh, and something dropped on the floor. Right, I'm going to put you on time lapse so I can keep the heater on. I'm a happy bunny. I know to some this might look like a hot mess, but I really like it. And I think the last time I really liked painting was the other time I did a still life, which is odd because it's not something that I normally thought that I could create, you know, something that I liked. I know there's a lot going on, but I think that's why I like it. And I love these Holbein gouaches. They're just so nice to paint with. They're like buttery and they go on beautifully. This is a little bit dirty here just because I think the paint was a bit wet underneath, but you know, I can take that. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I think it's fun. It was fun to paint, and I think when something's fun to paint, it comes across, you know. Yeah, pleased with it. And the brushes, these ones, I might have to look and see how much they are to see whether they're, you know, good value, but they're nice to paint with as well. They've got really good rebound, so they're bounce back and they're fun to paint with. Yeah, I'll have a look and see how much they are, because I don't want to be recommending them if they're really expensive. I don't think they are really expensive, but I don't know that for a fact, so I'd need to check that out before I tell you whether or not they're worth the money. I think actually I'll do that in a second before we do the conclusion. But yeah, happy days. Really enjoyed painting it. Okay, I think I've got to do it standing up. Not sure I can fit in the screen. It's very dark outside. I'm not sure what the time is, but anyway. Right, I need to stand up because it's quite big, and to be able to get it in frame I need to be here. So I was hoping to find a mount, but I haven't got a mount the right size in here. There we go. How close can we get it? You can see my big, you can't see it when there's something behind it, but I popped a bit of white gouache on there because it was a pink splodge, but you can't really see it. There we go. So this is it. These were my fluors that I use for inspiration, and my little Hornsea Vase. So yeah, super pleased with that. Now I've got to try and work out how to get a picture for my, what's the word? Thumbnail? I just looked up the price of the brushes. So the brushes were, I think they're $6.50, and there's 15 brushes in there. So can't really knock them at that price, can you? Probably similar price to the ones that you'd find in places like the Range. But yeah, they've washed well, they've worked they've done what I needed to do. We'll see how they work long term, whether they're good value, but I think for that price you can't really knock it, can you? So happy with that. And quite like the watercolour inks as well. I mean they are just a water-based ink, I think, but I quite like them as a little base. And we use those for the roses and some of the leaves down the bottom. Most of it I've kind of gone over with as well, but so thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm not sure how long the video will be because I've done it in one session. Normally I do my videos over the course of days, but this one just seemed to flow, which is probably why I've enjoyed it, because the last painting I did, if you remember the landscape, I think I did 6 paintings, none of which came out how I wanted them to. So it feels like hard work when it's like that, but when you can just paint it and do something and it comes out how you want it, that's the result, isn't it? I would say mine is probably a little bit tighter than the original, the one that we were using for inspiration. There's definitely a lot more going on in mine, a lot more colour, but I mean that's okay, isn't it? We're using it as inspiration. I wasn't trying to paint the exact same thing. So I'm going to say see you later and have what else? I don't know what we're doing the rest of the week. Working. So have a lovely week and I will see you soon. Bye.